Yes, welcome to Football Fever, brand new show. And my guests every single Thursday at 3 p.m. are going to be Kaz from Never a Foul and Dan Potts from Football's 12-Man Podcast. We've got Man United and Arsenal royalty inside the house. Royalty, I tell you, royalty. We'll be getting into it in a minute. We'll be talking about Eric Dyer, the greatest centre-back on earth, signing for Bayern Munich. I don't know what has happened to the world, but this is true. Jadon Sancho has just signed for Borussia Dortmund. Spurs have signed Radu. I'm told it's pronounced Dragoshin. Timo Werner, the unstoppable forward who is clinical, has joined Tottenham Hotspur. And Man United and Arsenal and Newcastle and Villa and Chelsea and City have done nothing. We'll get into all of it and look forward to this weekend's games. Kaz, long time. How you been?
Coping.
Good.
One word. Coping.
Good. It's better than not coping, right? That's good. You've been coping. Good. It's good to see you. You look well. That's good. It's good. And Dan Potts with the fresh haircut, fresh beard trim, tells me he's not dating. I don't believe him, but how are you, mate?
Mate, I don't have time to date, man, when you're in the YouTube world, trust me. But listen, I'm okay considering the start to the year has been shocking as far as my football team is concerned, but everything around life is going well other than Arsenal Football Club right now. But I hate to say I told you so, guys, but I told you so.
Listen, you didn't have to tell me. I was right there with you. I mean, look, guys, both your clubs at the moment are in. Let's start with your two football clubs, shall we? Because I talk about Tottenham Hotspur all day, every day for about 9 hours. It's interesting. Let's start with Man United. Right? Man United, I've seen this morning that if you beat Tottenham Hotspur this weekend,
here we go.
Eric Ten Hag, right, has the best win. I know, but I couldn't believe it, as the best win percentage of any Man United manager ever, better than Sir Alex Ferguson's. You seem to win one, lose one. He always seems to escape the dreaded sack, like at Aston Villa, where it looked like the boos were ringing and then you came back and won. It's not all happy down there. You've not signed anyone. What's going on at Man United, Kaz? What is happening down there? What's the fans feeling?
The same feeling last decade. What else is there to it? I'm Ten Hag out. I'm out. I'm off that. But that bandwagon shipped. Any Man United fan that can scream his name after 3-0 at home to Bournemouth, you need a smash in your own head, mate. Because honestly, that is ridiculous. How many? I think, what is it, 9 home defeats or something like that? Something like that. Anyways, look, it's the
stats don't lie, right?
It's unforgivable.
59%.
Who gives a look? All right, you know what? I was just going to be nice. I'm just going to let me just
go for it.
Who gives a shit if his win percentage is better than Sir Alex Ferguson? He was there for 26 or so years, right?
Yeah.
And he had that much of a win percentage. Whoop-de-doo. Win percentage. Where's my trophies, mate? And where's my wins at? They're nowhere. Don't get me wrong, yeah. These players are crap. Oh, like, they're so overrated and they can't do much. But he doesn't help himself. What else am I going to back with this? There's nothing to back with this guy. The only, again, I was saying it last stream or Monster stream, the only thing I can get behind is optimism. That's all I've got left. Oh, right now, it's like we switched places last year, Savva. With you under Conte, is now me. I've got Tottenham minerals right now. Did you get what I mean? That's what we are.
I hear.
We are Manchester Tottenham United. That's what we are. I'm sick of it. I'm bored of it. And again, my only optimism is the new regime that's coming in to put in place like proper footballing people in footballing positions, making sporting decisions. That's it. That's all I've got now, because that's all I've got left. I've got nothing.
I mean, Dan, it's a pretty bad indictment there from Kaz on his club. But listen, I stream with Kaz, who's United. I stream with Rants, who is United. I stream with other United fans. Everyone seems to be saying the same thing in terms of this guy's got to go. Is it a Ten Hag out thing for you? Do you look at Man United and think that are they a big club anymore in terms of? I know they are in terms of stature, but do you look at them as a rival anymore? What's your feeling on United?
yeah, Man United have always been one of the biggest clubs in the world, right? But they don't act like it. And I just think it's brutal to say this, but I actually feel like this is true when I say it, that I don't see Manchester United winning major honours until the Glazers sell up and go, because the ownership are a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. If I was a Man United fan, I'd be protesting to get them out. I don't know why they don't do that more. For me, I think it's about spending money. I actually disagree. I don't think it's about spending money, because they've spent the most money of a lot of clubs. But look at what they've spent it on. Look at who they've given the reins to. There's been no sporting director in place. There still isn't one. They've had everybody that has tried to tell them the problems that are footballing men. They've decided that they're the problem and that everything's rosy, so they've got rid of them, i.e. Ralph Rangnick, toxic, get out, rubbish. Cristiano Ronaldo, don't talk about Man United like that, see you later. Jose Mourinho, I somehow come second here, I somehow won a Europa League and they want to sack me. The club's rotten to the core. No, get out, you're toxic. Actually, just listen to what people are saying, because right now you need to start again. And for me, if the ownership do not try to at least put some respect into Man United and actually allow people, not apart from them, to run it properly, and just allow them to have footballing decisions and give money to people who can make footballing decisions, Manchester United are going nowhere. We're in 2024, boys, and I'm seeing Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans line up together at a centre-back pairing. The same centre-back pairing that Claude Puel had in 2016 for Leicester. That says it all. That is an absolute...
Was it? Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. To be fair, that was a very good partnership. To be fair.
Listen, it might have been a good partnership for Leicester, but you don't want it rocking up for Man United in 2024. I look at the situation very clearly. There isn't many Manchester United players that many teams in the top six would want. You don't look at Man United and go, right, I take him, and him, but the rest might be able to go. I can think of a couple that I might fancy, but wow, Arsenal apparently in the mud. What are Man United in then? Jesus
to
Christ.
be fair, it's not up to the Glazers no more. The sporting, that's commercial side, that's their bag now. So now it's all up to this Ineos. Let's see what they can do, Mr. Sergeant Ratcliffe. We can't bring in no one in until the whole thing's ratified anyways, which is meant to be done in the next week or so. So no one can go in any important positions. That's what I said. That's the only thing we got is optimism.
Well, Kaz, I was speaking to Rance about this on Monday, and my understanding of the whole situation with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and your club is that the deal will be finalised on the 1st of Feb. That's my understanding. It'll be the 1st of Feb, which seems very, very convenient for transfer window purposes. That, hey, well, we couldn't do anything in January because we weren't properly in charge. But
good.
Cool. But what does that mean for Man United fans? What are you expecting in this window?
Suffer.
Because you need something, right?
No. Let them suffer. Let these players realise what they are, and let these Man United fans suffer. You know what? I don't mind it. You have to take a bit of a battering and take a bit of a bruising before you can get anything. How are you meant to get any direction from anybody that's meant to be in charge in the space of a month? Who are you going to go and get as well, realistically? No one. Right? You might get one long-term target, but you're better off doing that for the summer and resetting again. Because guess what? This manager's garbage. Yeah? Don't believe in his tactics, right? Even if he had ballers, I still don't believe in the tactics, right?
Right.
Maybe, and obviously you never know, never say never, but I don't believe in his man management and the people that he picks. The guys that you wanted out, you're starting week in, week out. How am I meant to get behind McTominay? He's the same thing as Kai Havertz. What's the difference? They chip him with a few goals here and there, and they're absolutely useless. Don't do nothing. At least Kai Havertz can actually keep the ball with his feet at times. At
least McTominay didn't cost 65 million, right?
Point.
So
no. I'll do you one worse. We got Anthony. So and Mason Mount that we ain't even seen in half a year. So look, again, I wouldn't trust anyone getting under this manager right now. You can do your loans and do whatever you want, but it's not gonna change much. But do whatever you want. Go get your Donny Marlins on loan. Go look at whatever his name is from Nice as well. That they want to go get the centre back.
Jean-Claude Todibo.
What's his name? Todibo. That's it. I want him. I really do want him. Don't get me wrong. And I think he does come, considering that they own the club. But right now, Ten Hag's a fraud. A lot of these players are frauded. Let them keep suffering so people realize and wake up and smell the coffee, right? Because there's no managers out there for us to go and get. But I will go into each game wanting to win, though. And as I say to most Man United fans and most fans, I'd rather eat my words and say, oh, yeah, I was wrong. I don't mind doing that. I'm still winning either way then, if that's the case. If not, I'm right, then great. But it's just, what pride is, exactly. What pride is there in Man United anymore? It's the same crap. One year you're decent, the next year you're garbage.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, look, Dan, last question before we move away from Man United. Doesn't the kind of the Jadon Sancho's just signed for Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, he had a couple of really good years there, made his name, came back to the UK with this promise of being one of England's best players and a goal machine and an assist machine. He's gone back out there. Does this sum up Man U as a whole? And I don't mean, I'm not saying Jadon Sancho's the be-all and end-all, but the fact that Man U are in a mess. Ten Hag seems to have fallen out with Ronaldo and Maguire, and there's problems with Anthony, and then he's fallen out with Sancho. Does that situation kind of sum up Man United as a football club right now?
Yeah, it does, but it also sums up the man management of Erik ten Hag, because the difference of how he's been treated to how Anthony was treated is quite clear. I think Jadon Sancho is a player who's mentally not quite right. There's something wrong there, and I think the same goes for Marcus Rashford. I've always said that I thought Marcus Rashford was extremely overrated. I've always thought he was an all right player, but some people look and treat him as like, this guy's our Mbappe, 150 million comparisons, all this crap. And I'm thinking, this guy's all right.
I'm not joking. If you tell me to name 5 players to get rid of Man United first, he'll be, because of our financial situation, etc., he'll be on that list.
Well, Sancho.
Rashford.
Oh, Rashford.
Get rid of him. Taking what, 375 is it a week, cuz? Like, that's mad.
Get rid of Rashford, mate. I'm tired. You can look, if Mbappe's to go, PSG are coming in. Get rid of him. 80 million. They'll pay up the money. Get rid of him. He's crap. That man is.
I've never understood it. You know,
net negative players. Him and Bruno Fernandes, absolute culprits, being net negative crap players. Stat padders. That's what I call them.
I was on the terrace a couple of years ago saying I thought that, you know, Rashford was Danny Welbeck who feeds kids, and everyone started laughing and saying that was out of order. But I kind of am right now. You know, he isn't much different when you look at it. Listen, of course I was exaggerating, but when I look at it, I do think he's been overrated. I never see a Rashford season and think, wow. And then he kind of muddied me a bit last season, where I thought he was good for Man United for the first time in a long while. And then he goes disappearing again. This is what he does. You know, he'll have a couple of years now where he gets 4 or 5 goals a season, and he'll still be on 375k a week. So listen, Man United are in a mess. However, if I was the owner, which I'm not, if I was the owner, I would bring in somebody like Dan Ashworth, Paul Mitchell, whoever you want to bring in, and say, right, do not let this manager spend another penny, because look at the mess of him, right? Do not let this manager spend another bloody penny on this team. Sort out what you want as a recruitment together and keep it away from him.
He done what your manager did. He had the perfect opportunity this summer to make the problems go away. Kobbie Mainoo was inevitable. He was always coming in. He was there in pre-season. The one moment you need a controller, the same way you lot needed to replace Xhaka correctly, he went and got Mason Mount. Why do you need Mason Mount? You need a controller and a bit of PNP with technicality in it. Manu Kone, Kefren Turam, name them, right? Go get me a Barella even though he's not got no PNP to it. Something that the team lacks, right? And he goes and gets Mason Mount. He absolutely destroyed us this window. Honestly, and I don't think the board helped, because we wanted Kim Min-jae. Why didn't you not push for that deal before the Onana deal? Are you thick? Like, honestly, are you thick? Before the David De Gea situation, he wanted to go lower wages. Don't get me wrong, I wanted him out. There's plenty of decent keepers out there. They're not great anymore. You're going to get decent ones. That's the whole point of recruitment, right? How have you not got to get a centre-back before you got a goalkeeper? Is beyond me. That is pathetic. Could have set us up. Could have eased us up for something decent. His talent ID is shocking. That's why I call him 10 Heisenberg. He's crap. And honestly, I'm sick to death of him. And he wanted Cody Gakpo as well, yeah? And now in hindsight, when you look at him for Liverpool, he's crap as well. So even if he did go, he wouldn't have worked out.
Thing is, though, you look at the actual signings, not many of them have been hits, have they? Hardly any at all. You look at most of them have been misses. And the mentality at Man United is actually a shambles, if I'm honest. When I look around the pitch, I look at Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, jumping around, whining, moaning, screaming, just awful man. I can't stand it. He's probably one of my most hated footballers, right? I understand there's a talent there. I don't look at Man United and understand where they're going. There's no plan. You know, Gary Neville said like 4 years ago, I don't see a plan at Arsenal. I do under Rolly. I understand what he's trying to do. And I was thinking, well, actually the other way around. Whether you believe Arsenal was going to execute that plan, I could see a plan. The plan was clear. I didn't think the plan was going to work, and I still have my doubts that it will, right, to get us to the top. But you could see the plan. Everyone could see a plan at what Arteta and Edu are trying to do. Whether you think it's going to work or not is a different debate. But for me, I don't see a plan at Man United.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, that's why the only optimism I have is if it can get turned around in Arsenal situation, comparing the squad that you did have at the time 4 years ago, And the same thing that's happening with Tottenham right now means it can happen at United. Like on a bigger scale, by the way, spending more money if you need to, as long as you get it right. It's not even about the money. You said it's correct. It's not even about the money. It's just about the profile. It's just about profile.
If you get rid of Ten Hag, what are you going to get now? Because it's either go with another young project manager or it's go and get a win now manager. Because
No.
where you haven't got a win now team. So if you get a
Clearly-
win now manager, you ain't going to win. If that works.
Alright.
Conte is trying to win now with Spurs team that was never.
No. The thing is, there's no such thing as a win. There's no such thing as a win now manager that's available anymore. Because guess what? None of them are. It's a new breed of managers. People need to get this straight and forward. The Antonio Conte's, whatever you want, the Jose Mourinho, they're finished. These one nows are done. The only one they're not available. Diego Simeone, he's not going nowhere. He loves it over there. He don't even want to learn English. So forget that. The whole point is there's no such thing. So you're gonna have to get a project manager, whether you like it or not, right? The way I look at it is, Man United has to be looked at as a project. The whole point is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What picture do you see your team playing in? It's a bit like whether it's Paratici and a new recruitment that's been involved in the last year at Spurs. And then obviously they identified a certain type of manager. In hindsight, Spurs got lucky with Ange because they was 5th on the list. But guess what? It's worked out and it's harmony. Same thing with Josh Kroenke and Edu, and then with Mikel Arteta, it's worked out. There's harmony, even though you ain't won nothing.
But let me ask you something. Don't you think the thing with Tottenham is whether or not he was 5th choice or whatever choice he was on the list? Don't you think the difference is that because our fans aren't used to winning, the expectations that are going on Postecoglou aren't, oh my God, what, you haven't won a trophy? You're like, this guy's crap as well. Sack him in year one. My worry is when I've brought this up, like when I've spoken to Saeed, for example, when I go on Saeed and I'm like, Saeed, I was like, he's talking to me about we need a manager that can come in and win now. And I'm like,
what?
Exactly what Dan just said. Cool. Yeah. Your history suggests you want a manager that wins now. Your squad doesn't suggest whoever. You could drop Klopp in. You could drop Pep in. They're not going to make your squad. Listen, Pep would go into your squad. He'd have you 3 or 4 places higher up the table because he's a better manager. Is he going to have you winning a title? No. You have not got the players to match the other clubs. And this is the thing for me. I've said that I think, and I'm interested to let everyone in the comments, what do you think? I think Man U need their own version of a Postecoglou type manager. That even if it means for 2 years, 2.5 years, you are getting rid of all the deadwood, bringing in players, actually implementing a philosophy. But the difference is, like, your fans, and especially Chelsea fans, we'll talk about them a bit later, aren't then, do you know what I mean, Dan? They're not ready for that patience. They are, what do you mean? We're Chelsea and Man United. We should be winning now.
I think there is we're way more patient than Chelsea fans. That's a fact. Way more patient than them. They give their managers 6 months. You know what I mean? That time, less than that. So I look at it. Look, this has to be something different. They have to identify the way they want to play football and what kind of profiles they want to get. It's not about what money you want to get. Even profiles in world football, what's available these days? You're not going to go get yourself a 25 goal league season striker. They don't exist anymore, unfortunately. The fact is that Ivan Toney is actually available this summer. There might be a bit of a battle, but he ain't coming to us. He's going to Arsenal. He's going to Chelsea. Simple as that, right? So that pool there is done. Whether you want this Michael Elise and that, I'll be optimistic about that part. The thing is with this, they have to identify a project manager who they believe that they can fit in the mold that they see the vision, right? Whether it's Graham Potter or it's De Zerbi, I don't know. They got to go identify that themselves. And hopefully, you know, I have to accept that this manager, whoever they bring in, is probably going to be a building block stepping stone manager, because that's how it works. A bit like Arteta. He's not winning nothing this season now. He's done. I think he should get sacked at the end of the season if we don't win nothing either, right? Stepping stone. Go get yourself. Now they can probably attract someone that might be a win now manager. I don't know. But he's got them. I think he's reached his potential. And that's the ceiling of him for now. It's the same thing. That's what we're going to have to expect, because I don't believe whoever you're going to bring is going to win us anything, whether it's a Xabi Alonso, who I'd like, to be fair, from what I've seen, but it's not happening, is it? It's just it's optimism. That's what all Man United fans have got is optimism. A lot of if, buts and maybes and hopes.
Well, listen, Kaz, we're going to move to Arsenal because that might take a little bit of respite off you. You can relax a little bit, have your coffee or whatever you're drinking there, and we could talk about Arsenal and see what's going going well there, and them lifting the title in May. Before we do talk about Arsenal, the league winners pronounced back in November and December, there are 408 of you in here and 89 likes. Guys, that is 1 in 4. We're now talking about Richarlison and Kai Havertz strike rates. This is shocking. I'm not asking for Lionel Messi strike rates, but 1 in 2 would be nice, guys. Let's get 1 in 2. And please do smash the subscribe button. We are very, very close to the 13K. So please do subscribe. Subscribe to Football's 12 Man podcast. The link's in the chat. I believe, Dan, you're closing in on 14.
Just hit it today, mate. 14. So, yeah.
But don't go and subscribe to Dan then. He's already hit it. He's done it. No, go and subscribe to Dan. Help him start going towards 15. And Never a Foul, closing in on 19, 20? Closing on 20. There we go. There we go. So smash a subscribe to these boys as well. Dan. It's as though your fans didn't learn from last season. And when I say it's as though, it's exactly that most of your fans didn't learn from last season. What has gone on? Because back in November and December, all of your fans are rocking up in my chats every week. Spurs are crap. Arsenal are the best. You can't touch us. We're winning the league. Declan Rice is the best. Saliba's the best. Saka's worth 150 million. Now you can't win a game for love nor money. And these players look very ordinary. What's happening, mate?
Yeah, man. What's happening is what I've said for a long time. There's a lot, to be fair. It's not one thing. It's not one thing that we just need to tweak and then be okay, because a lot of people seem to think just buy a striker and then boom, done. Get a striker and Arsenal go win the league. And for me, it's crazy talk. Listen, I said at the start of this season that we've been left ourselves short. We're weaker than last year. But I was told I was toxic and negative and it's fine. We're top of the league. Just deal with it. I said, okay, that's cool. Let's see where we go. We were top of the league. We were winning unconvincingly. And I said it wasn't sustainable. Toxic, negative, go support Tottenham. That's what I was told. And now all of a sudden, one winning 7. And, well, a lot of people seem to be saying the stuff that I've been saying for quite a while now. It's very bizarre, really. Listen, I don't think we've played amazingly well all season. I kind of saw this was going to happen at some stage. When your front four isn't killing it, that doesn't mean your front four are shit all of a sudden, like some people think. They might have been overhyped, that's for sure. I think a lot of the Arsenal fan base thought that Saka was world class and that Martinelli and Ødegaard were in the bracket of kind of Zidane and Neymar, but it was never going to be that way. They're young players. They should never have been put in this position where all the pressure's on 3 younger lads. For me, they needed to be a lot more strength in depth, and that wasn't brought in. But it's a style of play thing, Savva. You can't tell me that Jesus, Ødegaard, Saka and Martinelli just had a bit of a fluke last year, and actually they're really quite crap, and we might as well just put 4 League One players up there because that's the level. It's a manager thing, man. It's a style of play thing. It's being drowned out. Mikel Arteta has massively overreacted to what happened last year. There was no need for us to change this style of play. We're supposed to be now more controlled by winning games 2-1, 1-0. A style of play, by the way, which nobody wants because everybody doesn't want Ancelotti or Simeone because they play boring 1-0, 2-1 football. Now, Mikel Arteta is playing it. But it's different. It's all right, actually. I can see what Mikel Arteta is doing. Unbelievable. There's so many ADLs in our fan base, which stands for Arteta Defence Lawyers. I cannot stand everything that they're talking about, mate. It is absolute embarrassment. I call them ADLs. I think people call them top gooners and Arteta sexuals. There's loads of names for them, right? But for me, this manager can do no wrong. Anytime something goes wrong with Arsenal Football Club and it's pointed towards Mikel Arteta, they treat it like it's a sports day. Like your little nephew's just lost in a sack race. Doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
It's elite sport, by the way. We're supposed to be winning trophies. And it's like, doesn't matter. If he gets top 4, we'll give him another £200 million. He's only had 700 million and 4 years. Give him time. It's crazy. I don't get it. It's not for me. And if he doesn't win something this season, then I think he should be gone. There is context to that, of course. I think when you look at, let's just say, for example, I don't think this is going to happen, but let's just say that we get to a Champions League final and we lose to Real Madrid. There's no shame in losing to Real Madrid in a final of the Champions League, right? And there's no shame in losing to Manchester City in the league if you take them to the last day of the season. There's a little bit of context that I might say, bloody hasn't won anything again, but you know what? He could have won us the Champions League and the Premier League if it weren't for one result here and there. Unfortunately, that ain't going to happen. If we go out to Porto and we finish in the top 4, see you later, mate. It's been a waste of another 5 years, and we get somebody else in. But I honestly believe, again, like I pointed the fingers towards the Glazers, the Cronkies ain't innocent in this. And again, people will say, oh, they've spent the most money. It ain't about spending money, people. Look at Man United. Arsenal have spent as much money as everybody other than 3 clubs, Chelsea, Man United, and PSG. So why is everyone else ahead of us then? Because for me, it's bizarre that Manchester City, we spent more money than Manchester City and Real Madrid, right? So why is it in the last 4 years, everyone's saying, give this guy time? Christ, he's had it hard, he's had it rough. He hasn't had it rough. This guy's had everything he wants, all the time in the world, all the players he wants. This is his squad now. And I told people about the squad depth. I said, we've still not replaced Saliba. What happens if he gets injured? Oh, I don't know. We just play Kivior there again. What happens if Saka gets injured? In fact, what happens if Saka plays poorly like he has been and he's knackered? Nothing. We just keep playing him. What about if Jesus gets a knock? We just play Eddie. What about if Ødegaard gets a knock? Oh, we'll try and force Kai Havertz in there. What about if Partey gets injured? Oh, he won't get injured again for the whole season. Oh, he's injured for the whole season. Pretty much anyway, most of it now. So nothing's changed, man. The bench is exactly the same. We're still bringing on Eddie. We're still bringing on Reece Nelson. We're still trying to get Smith Rowe fit. Trossard, we don't know where to play him, but he's coming on. So listen, this manager has to hold that. And unfortunately, it's up to him to turn it around, bruv. And that's where my blame is lying at the moment, bruv.
I mean, yeah, listen, I don't disagree with anything you've said looking from the outside in. Obviously, from a Tottenham fan point of view, it's good. If I take my hat off and look at what Arsenal have done, I can't believe, Kaz, I can't believe that Arsenal in the summer, when they're spending 225 million, whatever they did, after finishing second and being in a title race, I can't believe they really, truly didn't go and strengthen the squad depth. I don't get it.
Well, to be fair, it's not like you have to spend money. When you rip up a squad, you have to spend money. Look at Tottenham. They spent nearly close right now as it stands since the summer, nearly closing in on 200 million. Mm-hmm. And they still got to do more. They want a box to box. So they're going to be circa more than 200 million pounds. That's the way it works.
We didn't finish second.
No, the only thing is
we had to build a squad, right? Arsenal just had to add 3 or 4 to the squad. Sure.
No, they just needed about 2 players, I'll be honest.
All they needed. We need more than 2.
Nah, I don't think so. Where do we
need them? What 2 do we need?
No. You bottled the league due to 2 things, yeah. In my opinion, you got where you got to with your striker. So I don't even think you needed a striker anyways, to be fair. I think it complements your wingers, right? You got Rice. All right, fair enough. Maybe 3 players if we're going to include Rice. You needed a centre mid, right? And a proper one, not Havertz. That's where you went wrong. Considering the season that Man City currently having, Liverpool currently having, you lot could have been a lot further in you should walk this league by now, in my opinion. You should have been walking it. Now to the point that Tottenham have we're talking about Tottenham title contenders. And I wouldn't put it past them when they get all their players that plus 1 more team. All they got to do is 1 game a week and keep them fit. And they play the best football in the league. But they'll bottle it anyways, because I don't think they've got the mentality to go all the way yet. But with you guys, I think you just needed centre-back cover, really. I don't think you need to change your goalkeeper. Clearly, you're doing worse. You need a centre-back cover that's decent, that can cover Saliba or someone just in case they get injured. And for me, and a centre-mid, and you's good to go. Other than that, you didn't need the perfect team and the perfect, 18 plays each time? That's it. That's all you don't need it. Not in my opinion.
Do you know what it is as well, right? This is what frustrates me. Some of the fans that are sticking up for everything this manager does. Right, what is it we did in January? January? We haven't got any money, mate. It's FFP. Don't you know what that is? Well, what the hell are we spending 65 million on this German giraffe for then, when we've got no money? What is going on here? I don't understand. We need a striker. We need a midfielder, because do you know Declan Rice is the only box-to-box midfielder that we've actually got at the club. Otherwise, if he gets injured, we've got to play one of, like, as you mentioned, Havertz there. El Neni may have to come in. Somebody mad like that, right? There is nobody there to replace Declan Rice. So we need, like Kas said earlier, Yusuf Fofana, Kefren Turam type player to come in on top of a centre forward. We need another winger, because Saka is playing week in, week out, and there's no one to give him any cover. And we still need a right-sided centre-half, because if we do get an injury to Saliba, we're going to have to shift one of our right-backs there or play one of our left-sided ones there. So for me, there's still more than 2 players. And when I look at what was needed in the summer, when I look at that being done as though, we spent 100 million on Rice. I thought that's a good start. And then that was where it stopped, basically. We had Havertz come in before that, and I thought that's a bit of a strange one. But
can I be honest? You didn't need. In theory, I think Rice has been very good, and I think he's proven me wrong. I don't think you needed this. I don't think you needed to spend 100 million on him. I just think you just needed better scouts. No, if FFP was really a problem, then you didn't really need to go spend that, did you? You know, like in my opinion, the only thing no one predicted.
I get Rice, but I don't get Havertz.
The only thing I don't understand, obviously, which no one predicted, to be fair, is why just get rid of Pai? Like, he's useless. He's not available. We all know what's really going on behind the scenes. He's not really injured. Allegedly, let's put that on his channel. Allegedly, like, we all know where he is. Allegedly. You should have got rid of him ages ago. You should have let him sold to Juventus or Saudi, where he wanted to go for that 30-40. I don't know why he kept him. To be fair, in theory, we've only seen 20 minutes of that this season. It was against City, and he looked really good. He's a good player. Look, I thought, Declan Rice might have fitted that 8 mold, maybe, or maybe Partey could have did it. But yeah, I think Arsenal just missed the trick this season. And guess what? And that's down to your manager. And he don't have credentials in the bag to say, I can go again next season, because guess what? If he does another one of those things, I don't know what in his mind told him I can revive this Kai Havertz. That's what I think. You know what I call that? I call that arrogance.
100%.
Can I just ask, was Kai Havertz, so look, just for debate's purposes, was Kai Havertz definitely Arteta? Because and the only reason I ask that is, sometimes when a signing's been made, sometimes when a player works out, the manager gets all the credit. When a player doesn't work out, everyone goes on about the board and the director of football. So I'm not close enough to Arsenal. Was this definitely Arteta, or is this Edu? Or
from what we know and what we're told, and I'm no ITK either, Savva, to be fair. I'm close to the club, but not close enough to know the ins and outs to that level, right? But I was told Mikel Arteta highlighted Kai Havertz as a player that he thought was beneficial to his midfield, not his centre forwards, not his wingers, not his number 10s, midfield. Now the guy wants to try and put him up front after half a season's gone. So, listen, people say he's versatile. I think he actually is poor in every position. I don't know anything this guy's really good at, if I'm honest with you. Attributes-wise, he's got stature and he gives his all in terms of pushing people around. I don't really need that in my team. I need someone with this technical flair he's supposed to be given. £65 million, 290k a week for a guy who stands there and waits for the ball to bounce off of him. That's all I'm seeing so far. The guy's crap in the air at 6'4". The guy can't put in top bins from the outside the box. He doesn't take on any of his players. He just passes it, keeps it moving. The guy is not worth the money. And when I see him coming into the squad, I'm like, meh. When I see him starting every game, nah.
You know what I don't understand, Dan, is why did you keep Smith Rowe when there was an offer on the table from apparently from Aston Villa or whoever it was for 30 million? And he's barely played. What's the point of keeping him around, right? You know what I don't understand? How much, like, we need to talk about man management and actual thought. It's like he's a bit of a hoarder. Like, what's the point of keeping Nketiah when there was a Palace offer there potentially? Who knows? And how must he feel knowing that garbage man called Kai Havertz, right? Let's not beat around the bush. Let's keep the standards here, because I'm sick to death of praising bog standard average. Yeah, I'm not saying NK is anything great, but he's seeing Kai Havertz go in front of him against who is it against? Against Liverpool in a cup match, right? A cup match. That's everything you need to know how you must feel about it. What's the point of giving him a new contract then? This Fabio Vieira guy, where is this guy? This Portuguese eyelash, where is he gone?
No, exactly.
Portuguese eyelash.
Love it. It's fair, man. It's fair. I don't understand the man management there either. Eddie Nketiah, let's stick on him. You've just said he must feel bad. Actually, he must feel good, because he's the one that's actually been given the chance. Players like Reece Nelson, Trossard even, one glimpse of a bad game, get him out. Whereas David Raya, keep playing, man. Keep playing. Saka, last 7 games.
Waste the money there. Waste the money there.
It's crazy, man.
The last bit I want to talk about Arsenal. I want to talk about this guy. This guy has been lauded as...
Who's this?
Saka, star boy, whatever you want to call him. I've got Arsenal fans telling me this guy is 150 million. He's the best winger in the world. Guys, I've always said that I think Saka's a good player, but I don't ever watch him and go, wow. Like, I'll say, when I watched Overmars play for Arsenal, it was frightening. When I watched Ginola play, Giggs play. Yeah, when I watch these, the Gareth Bales, the Eden Hazards, the Salahs, you go, wow, look at them. They're frightening. Why, Dan, is Saka getting... are your fans putting too much pressure on him? What's happening? Because he just looks a complete shadow of what your fans say he is.
Yeah, he's not the only one, mind you, and I'll come back to that in a minute.
Sure.
But
Sure.
yeah, but what I will say is he's the one that will get the most stick, because he's young, English, and he's supposed to be a bright spark, right? And the fans have overhyped him. So Saka is a top player, absolutely fantastic player. And what I don't really get by is neutral fans going, "See, he's always been crap, isn't he? He's now showing he's always been crap."
Yeah,
Sure.
that's
That's
stupid,
like
isn't it?
extreme, right?
Yeah.
That's
He's a
quite
good player.
extreme.
He's a good
However,
player.
when I see the performances of him of late, he hasn't been good. And I do not blame it solely on him, but he does have to look at himself. So does Martinelli, by the way, on the other wing. But what I will say is the manager has given this kid 99 consecutive games.
Oh,
If
in
anybody
all
else played
competitions.
99 in all competitions, you're probably going to get a
Oh,
bit tired sooner or later. It's
wow.
amazing the kid's still going. I can't really, I don't know at 21, but if this carries on, this manager will retire this footballer at the age of 26. If this carries on, it is
You know
going to
what's
get.
you know what's mad, Dan? Yeah, it's like it was funny, right? Because there was that supposed Achilles injury, right, or wherever it
Yeah.
may have been. I was rumored at the time. I was eating it up. Don't get me wrong. Content's content. Gave him like 2 games off, and I'm
Yeah,
thinking, are you? This is what I mean. But this is
yeah,
I
it's
don't
mad.
understand. I
It
don't
is crazy.
understand it. I don't understand it. It's like you clearly, you know what? Maybe I was a bit disingenuous when I said you only need about 2 signings. But actually, to be fair, in theory, probably needed a proper right wing cover, like someone that's
Well,
actually
listen,
half decent. Like as
yeah,
well, again, why keep Reece Nelson around, but you barely play him?
yeah. Listen, Kaz, you're bang on, man. And you give Eddie Nketiah and Smith Rowe 14 and 10. Like, let's be real. I've got 2 people behind me there that wore the number 14 and 10, that deserve to wear the number 14 and 10, that made both them numbers at Arsenal famous. So we're giving them to kids now. Reece Nelson, don't get it. Give him a new contract deal and it doesn't play him. Smith Rowe keeps him around and he's just a bad smell now because the guy can't keep fit. I look at what's going on with Mohamed El Neni and Cedric. I think they're cardboard cutouts or holograms on the bench. I don't quite get what they're doing here. There's just decoration at this time. So there's a lot going on wrong. But when you questioned this stuff back in kind of August, when things were rosy at Arsenal, apparently, and we just won a Community Shield, you're negative, you're toxic. Now it's coming to fruition. People are starting to go,
Yeah.
I think these people might have been right. Balls, I'm wrong.
I think Edu deserves stick. Edu deserves stick.
Weird.
Edu deserves stick as well because he's the one that
Yep.
profiled these some of these guys as well. Don't get me wrong, like some of them have worked out, and obviously a lot of them haven't. So that's down to Edu as well. I don't know why you ever thought Fabio Vieira. Even when I saw that, I said, it's very versatile, but it's come from
we
the
spent
Portuguese.
100 million, Kaz, on Vieira and Havertz. That's for 100 million pounds.
And David Ryan now 30 million. There you go.
Yeah, and you know, like there's a lot of money spent there. And on the Havertz money, we could have taken Diaby, Kudus, Maddison, Cole Palmer, Szoboszlai. There's a lot of players that went the same window, and we decided to go for Havertz.
Mate, imagine if you got Maddison and just let Erdegaard do that Shaka type role. Maybe
I wanted him, but I was told that we don't need him.
Madison, wow, what
even a Kudus, someone like that, just to
they
take
had a chance. They were linked with him. Don't you remember? They were linked with Kudus.
For 15 million pounds more, we could have got Kudus and Maddison. It's mad.
Play him in areas that you need him in, whether it's strike front, on the right hand side, or even I don't know, maybe a little bit deeper as well. He's played 8 before, so yeah. He's a really good player.
Look, let's move on, guys. Another story that's been doing the rounds this week. Look, that sums up Chelsea Football Club. By the way, smash the likes, please. This is getting embarrassing now. We're on 150 likes. 150. We should be on 250, 300 now. And we're 5 subs away from 12,700. So can we get 5 kind subscribers? Subscribe to these 2 gentlemen as well, please. Pochettino. Chelsea are at it again. Their fans giving a manager 18 games, 19 games, don't like what they see, want to sack him, believe they should be winning every year. I'm of the opinion, I'll put this out there rather than ask you what you think straight away. I'll say I'm of the opinion that if they keep doing this, it doesn't matter what manager you bring in, they're going to be in a constant state of flux. They're just going to be constantly changing ethos, strategy, training schedules, patterns of play. Everything's going to change. Players going out, players coming in because the new manager wants new. At some point, guys, and tell me if you think differently, at some point, don't they need to give a manager a year and a half and say, right, let's build rather than constantly sack managers? Aren't they in danger of just being a revolving door?
Do you want to go first, Potts, or do you want I to go? Because I swear I've got a massive opinion on this part. I want to see if Potts wants to go first or not, because he's the one that hates Chelsea more.
I can't stand them, and I'd love to get stuck into them. If yours is a long rant, then I'll come first, because mine probably won't be as long. So I'll let you come after me. But I personally love every single second of this. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I just love it. I just loved. I think their fan base are completely and utterly tapped. I think they are the most impatient fans I've ever known in my life. And I predicted all of this. And I said that, are your fan base, Matisse and Lewis and all these guys I was with, going to have 3 seasons of patience? Yeah, of course we will. We understand. We didn't whip up again. 6 months later, Potter's getting sacked. And now you get the new manager, Potts, 6 months later. Not even that. I don't know how long he's been here. Not even that. They want him out already.
September, October, November. He's had 5 full months.
Listen, you've spent £1 billion on kids that are unproven. You want them to win a title? Are you mad? With a manager, by the way, who's never won anything. Come on, man. What is happening here? Like, this to me is either a project that you stick with and give patience, or you say, I want the owners out because I don't like the way they're doing it. None of this, I love this Todd guy. He's giving us all these players. Yeah, brilliant. Why aren't we winning right now? What's going on? We're used to winning. This is the complete opposite to Roman Abramovich. I look at that Chelsea side and I think, what the hell has the money gone on? What the hell has all the money gone on there? I wouldn't want half of them players. They look absolutely abysmal. These players I never heard of, by the way, that are coming on. I've no idea who they are. Apparently, they've spent billions of pounds on it. They spent £215 million on a midfield, and Pochettino might need another midfielder. What? You've just spent 300 million on your midfielder. On your midfield, you want more? I must say, Pochettino is doing a good job. I must say, improving the doubters of him right even. I thought he did a really good job at Spurs. I thought he did a really good job at Spurs.
Dan with a little dig. Love it.
Well, people doubted him, didn't they? People said, is he going to do it at Chelsea? And he's proven perhaps it isn't going to be rosy for him. And I'll be amazed if he stays, because this manager's this owner is nuts. He'll just get rid of him. If they lose to Middlesbrough in the cup, he'll be gone, mate. They will be absolutely gone. So Chelsea at the moment are probably one of the biggest banter clubs. Somehow Man United aren't quite as much in the river as Chelsea. It's absolutely
Dan, before just quickly, can I just say one thing? Again, obviously my job as host is to play a bit of devil's advocate, right? I think 3 things are really, really important here. I think, first of all, I think when fans just talk about 1 billion, I think what we've got to remember is that all the 1 billion wasn't spent by Pochettino, right? But I'm not saying that he didn't have a lot of money, but what it seems to me is Chelsea have tried to rebuild an entire 30-man squad in 3 windows, which is unheard of. No one does that. Most of the top clubs, like Liverpool this window, 3 or 4 of their midfield went out. They brought in 3 or 4 midfielders, but they're not doing 8, 9, 10 signings a window, right? They don't try and change a whole squad that quick. 2, I think they're not doing great, but they are 3 points off of European football in the league and 1 game away. Yeah, 1 game away from losing to Borough, but 1 game away from a cup final, right? So when you look at it like that, don't you think they've got to say, right? And sorry, the third thing is all the injuries Chelsea have had have just been absolutely they're huge injuries. Don't you think they've got to give this guy, see the year out, see what progress you've made? Because otherwise, I know Kaz is going to say something completely different. Otherwise, Dan, and sorry if I'm ranting a bit, otherwise, you bring in your next manager, right? You gave Potter 6 months. You've given Potts 6 months. The next manager's going to come in, get 18 league games. If he doesn't turn it around like that, it's going to be, oh, well, this guy's no good. He gets 6 months. Where does it end? Where on earth does it end?
It's a great point. And the best way for me to answer it is Chelsea Football Club needs to lower their standards, right? They should raise the standards as a whole football club and always demand the best, but they need to be realistic about what they can achieve this season, right?
Short-term pain for long-term gain.
Right, exactly. So when you look at it, I don't think Chelsea fans are going to do that, but that's what they're going to need to do now, because it's got to that stage. They are trusting this process, are they? They are behind this Todd Bowley guy. They love him. They think he's giving them all this money. Well, it's going to take some time, because Chelsea right now are absolute mess, proper mess, yeah? Pochettino needs to hold that as well, by the way, because he hasn't been brilliant for them. Yeah, at the same time, I appreciate what you're saying, Savva, in terms of he could get to a final and he could get to a European place. But that is not an unbelievable overachievement, in my opinion. what I look at with Pochettino is I can tell Ben Chilwell's not a left winger, but he thinks he is. I can tell that Disasi's not good enough to play centre back, let alone right back. He's playing him there because of Gusto and Reece James.
Yeah.
I can tell you for a fact that some of the individual decision making by Pochettino has been pretty poor. But I kind of didn't expect Pochettino to take Chelsea to these title because he couldn't do it with Spurs. And let's be real, like Spurs at that time had a really good 11. They didn't have a very good squad, but
they had a very good team.
Right? Really good 11.
Team, yeah.
That's probably the best Tottenham side 11-wise that I've seen in my era of football, right? I don't go back to the 80s and etc. But when I look at it, I just don't really see how it improves by just keep getting rid of manager after manager after manager, because you get no sustainability and you have to at some stage give somebody a little bit more of a go. Now, I understand if Chelsea are down in 15th, and they're out of everything, you're going to go, Christ, we just have to get somebody who can do better than that. But right now, I think you need to give Pochettino this window to try and get a couple more players in that he wants, because Todd Bowley's clearly got money, and you've got to give it until you believe it is the panic button. And I'm not so sure the panic button is just there just yet for Pochettino. But I must say, it looks a mess. It looks an absolute mess. And
something's not right.
I look at the players and think, what are they, Savva? Like how many? I like Caicedo, but doesn't look the same. This Enzo Fernandez won a World Cup, but he don't look like he's a young player. He ain't going to win them on his own stuff, is he?
I feel like they look like the problem is with this rebuild. And don't worry, I know Kaz is itching to get in. I know what Kaz is going to say as well. I feel that what they've done is they've got rid of all other than Thiago Silva. They've got rid of all the leaders in that team. You look at that midfield. Enzo's a good young player. No guidance in that midfield. Gallagher's the captain at 23. Hasn't played loads of Premier League football. Caicedo, yes, he was expensive. He's still a young kid. They've got no leadership in there at all other than Thiago Silva. He's playing people like Colwill at left back. You know, listen, I'm not, by the way, I'm not sitting here sticking up for Poch. I'm just saying, I don't understand. Change Poch's name to Smith. I don't know, right? It don't matter. I just think if you keep changing manager every 6 months, the club can never, ever actually have a plan, a project, a process. But let's bring Kaz in, because I think Kaz is going to say the complete opposite, which we love for a debate. Go on, Kaz. Take it away.
I don't even know where to start. Look, if you've got a business, right? If you've got your own business going forward, it doesn't matter. If that man is underperforming to your standards, for the club, and you say you might have to lower the standards, right? Then you're going to sack him until you get a manager that can actually work the place properly. So, last time I checked, Spurs didn't have that great of a squad come this summer. Am I meant to believe they got a better squad than Chelsea's on paper? No, they don't. Last time, you don't really have a recognised goal scorer, except Son is the anomaly right now because everything he's shooting is putting it away.
I don't think it's that different, though, Kaz.
No. The thing is, I think you can blame all parties, but
I think everyone overrates the Chelsea players because of how much they cost versus their actual ability. That's half the problem, right? I don't think our squad's different from Chelsea in terms of we've got a few more leaders in there. Like we've got experience with James Maddison, with Romero, with players like Bentancur, Højbjerg, Sonny. We've got some that are like 25, 26.
Even Bissouma.
But they've got all kids.
I hear it, but at the same time, Poch is a dinosaur. He didn't work at PSG, right? He couldn't handle egos there. So what on God's gracious earth do you think he's going to manage anything at Chelsea? Because that is full of egos, right? Whether it doesn't matter or not.
Poch is magic.
The first issue there was from upstairs thinking an ex-Spurs is going to get on with the crowd at Chelsea. So that's where they first went wrong, right? And the second is, it's not like they're playing bad football, but they've actually got a lot of ballers in their team. They do play good football, but he doesn't help himself. You're playing Chilwell at left wing. You're playing Colwill still at left back. You're playing Disasi sometimes at right back when you have Gusto available. And the thing is, Chelsea then helped themselves. They didn't need Lavia. They didn't need none of that. You could have got something else, and they haven't helped themselves. But Poch is garbage in this day and age. Once I finished, it's not about who. It's up to them.
Of course it's about who. Who are you dropping in? Who are you dropping in?
For me, if I was the board, I would have went with someone a bit more modern. This is the thing.
Who are you bringing in?
I personally would, because they were more suited to a 3-back type system, I would have went for an Amarim. personally. If I was Chelsea and wanted a project, I'd want
Okay.
someone that's actually won the league with kids, by the way, that hasn't won a league in quite a while in Sporting Lisbon. That's what I would have went for. These managers like Poch are outdated. And the thing is, they haven't got credentials anyways to be there. It didn't work with Graham Potter. So, and that was always going to fail. And to be fair, I'm not saying this team would have been absolutely amazing, by the way. I wouldn't say they would have been top of the league. But you're telling me this team isn't going to be doing much better than when Man United.
Listen, Kaz, I agree with that. But I'm going to ask you the question, right?
Go on.
I'm going to ask you a question. So when I speak to Chelsea fans and they say things like, "Oh, we'd like a Simeone," who I don't think is realistic anymore, because I can't see why you would leave Atletico to go
with
to
the amount of money
Chelsea,
on. He's the most paid manager in the world. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm sure he could get that at Chelsea, but for me, I don't know why you would want that stress in your life, if I'm brutally honest, right? So anyone goes to Chelsea, let's assume, I'm just going to pick a name. Please don't everyone in the chat start telling me what you rate this manager or not. I'm just going to pluck a manager's name out. Chelsea go and take Hansi Flick, for example,
100%.
right?
There you go.
Okay.
100%.
All right, hang on. All right, hang on, hear me out.
Oh.
Hansi Flick drops into the Chelsea job this week, right? And he's got 18 Premier League games to go. And Chelsea, because of their squad, because of their injuries, because of, again, another change in ethos, structure, pattern of play, diet, all of this, new coaching staff, Chelsea are now up and down because it's a new manager. Finish the season 8th, 9th, 10th, right? Which is round about where they are now. What do we do? Do we sack him? Do we sack him?
Well, he didn't have a pre-season.
Do they sack him?
No, but that's not really a strong point in my opinion.
Of course it is. Just what they keep doing.
Because one, he didn't even have his pre-season. Poch did, right? He had a pre-season. I think pre-seasons are massive for when you want to change stuff. You're doing a lot of if, buts, and maybes. If they did that,
Mate,
if they don't.
Potter,
I'm not being funny, but we
Potter
always
didn't get a pre-season.
Yeah, no, but I don't think Potter should have got sacked in my opinion. Anyways, but from what I heard about his man management, it's a bit of a different story. Maybe it was a bit too big for him, which is understandable. You get Hansi Flick, who's been there and won it all. Even Nagelsmann has credentials there. Modern manager who can work with young players like he did at Leipzig. It's more of a thing there, more of a system. Played a free back, which would have suited the players that they got right now. The thing is, right, you're doing if, buts, and maybes. Just because it's not working doesn't mean you can't go and sack him just because nobody else is available. That's what a lot of my fans tell me about. Oh, if you 10 I'll get sacked, you're going to go and get. String it out to the end of the season because it's a bit of a different situation for mine. I don't care anymore. With Chelsea, they can definitely still save it because you're in cups. You're in a Carabao Cup.
Hang on, but save what? Save what? It's one season, right? Save what?
I can't sit here and say Pochettino fills me with a rival confidence of getting any sort of European football. I still think Fulham are a better team than them right now. That's how low the standards got. Because this is what I mean about standards. Just because Poch was once upon a time decent for Spurs and got them top 4, just because once upon a time, Arsenal were major, but now they've had to lower their standards, doesn't mean another club has to lower their standards to you lot standards, because your standards are not the same as next.
Whoa. Hang on.
You've had your say. You've had your say. I can have my say.
Yeah. Hang on.
That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Pochettino, I know you've got affiliation with him because he was once your manager.
No.
He is shit.
No. Don't start doing that, Kaz. I don't care.
I know you don't care. No, we love this. We love this.
Kaz, as I said, this manager's name could be Smith, Potter, Tuchel, whoever, right? My point is this. When I look at the best clubs, right? When I look at the best clubs, would anyone disagree with me that Liverpool and City have been the biggest 2 clubs in this country overall for the last 6-7 years?
That's the best clubs,
right?
Yeah.
Right, the best clubs, right? What have they got in common?
Manager.
Wait, who? A good manager, you're going to say? No, not just that.
2 of the best managers in the world.
2 of the best managers in the world, but Liverpool and Man City have had their managers for 7, 8, 9 years, right? Both of them, the whole club now is theirs. Diet, training, academy, scouting, directors of football, everything is on one page. They've built that over time, right? Liverpool, the manager didn't go into Liverpool in year 1 and completely transform Liverpool into winning titles or winning trophies. He needed time to get rid of anyone. The problem that we're saying is when you're talking about standards, Kaz, I get it, but the problem is everyone is going to talk about standards, right? This is what I always have with Lee Gunner. Everyone can't win the league. Right? At some point, all of these clubs at some point have to turn around and go, right, we need a plan. We
Time
need a
doesn't mean
structure.
everything. Time doesn't mean everything, though. Just because it worked for Liverpool's way doesn't mean it works for Chelsea. That's two different entities because that's not their structure is different, and that's how. And I think a club, the way you are as a fan, is how it is within their club. Anyways, I think it's a different thing. Man United and Chelsea are very alike right now because you used to chopping and changing and winning, but we also had a manager that was there for many, many years to succeed us. Just because it worked long term for Liverpool and because of Man City doesn't mean that's the same thing that has to happen at Chelsea. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, PSG, all these clubs chop and change their manager no matter what and keep winning. But that's
what's the difference? What's the difference? What's the difference? This is the problem.
Don't get me wrong. Let's not act like a few years ago that Chelsea's team were anything great. They had Pulisic and all these people there. They were shit as well. You need I agree with you, though. I agree with you, Sav. They need to rip out a lot of their weeds, which I think they have done, and they need to give it time. But time with this manager doesn't mean it's going to succeed regardless. And when you're making common mistakes, for me, from what I can see as just a mutual fan or whatever, you're putting certain players in certain positions, not playing certain players that clearly are better than this player. Then for me, you're not competent enough to manage it, and you don't deserve the time. Right now, do I think Pochettino deserves
the target though, right?
I don't think so.
Target surely this season. What is that? Is the target for Chelsea try and get us European football and get us to some silverware? If that's the target, and he manages to get then that's probably a respectful season into what everyone else is doing right now in football. If Poch comes 12th with Chelsea and trophyless, he's got to go because that's unacceptable.
No, I agree. But the thing is as well, if he does win the League Cup or get to the League Cup final and finish 7th, 6th and gets European football, by the time they go next season, those young players that they've bought have had 1 year under their belt, playing, learning his way of football, all playing together. Plus, they've got 14 injuries currently. They've had some huge players out for them, which is massive for a young squad. My point is this. People always say, well, Chelsea's success was built upon getting rid of managers. Jose had a couple of years. Scolari, Averill Grant was there for a bit. Who else? Ancelotti was there for a bit. This manager was there for a bit. The difference is, but the difference is those managers had a world-class squad. Conte. They had a top squad where it was going wrong, and the new manager came in and went, right, I just need one or two to add to this top squad. We win again. This Chelsea squad isn't that. And this is my only worry for football fans in general. Forget that it's Chelsea. My worry for football fans and football clubs in general is that no one is given any time to do anything anymore. No one is.
Their board, now, clearly, we can all sit here and agree their board is still a mess. They probably hiring people that probably don't deserve to be in their position. Their whole philosophy or ethos of signing players under the age of 25 or something. Clearly, that was wrong. That's their fault. But at the same time, two things can be right at the same time. Their board went wrong. Sure. I just feel like Pochettino is never going to be that guy ever. Even if Pochettino was to have this Man City squad or whatever squad you want to name it, he still isn't winning the league. That's a fact.
You don't think he'd win the league with the Man City squad?
Not this one. No, I don't think so. I don't believe it. In fact, I don't. I don't think he's a top tier manager. And you say what's available. I think there's a few out there that could. There's a lot of if and buts, to be fair, if I'm saying Amarim. But I think there's some people with credentials still that they could have got. Things will take time, but you have to have something to actually buy into. Can you sit here and tell me, as rival fans, that you look at Chelsea, the way they play and who they select through that manager, that you're buying into what he's doing? I don't think so. I don't think Chelsea fans are.
I think it's fair to question Poch. I think it is fair to question Poch.
I agree.
I think he was massively overhyped with
especially when you got one game a week, by the way. No pressure.
Yeah. So we'll see what he does. But I don't know if he's going to get time because the fans don't want to give him time, and the owner has already proven that he can sack managers. So I don't think it's good for Poch. I think it's hard for him.
Well, listen, just quickly, the last thing I want to talk about really, really quickly, I don't want to keep you boys too long, if that's all right, if you've got 5 minutes.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Is Tottenham. Is Tottenham Hotspur. There'll be a lot of Spurs fans in the chat. It will be a miss of me to not bring up Tottenham Hotspur, the 23-24 league winners. Yeah. So, listen, on a serious note, Spurs, a lot has changed at Tottenham in the last 6 months, in the last 7 months since Conte went. New director of football or technical director, whatever they're called. We've got a new chief football officer, new scouts, new manager, new academy directors. We've changed the way we play. We've changed the way that we're scouting and buying players. What do you guys make of Spurs? And I want to find out from both of you, what can Spurs do this season? And what do you think the limit is with Postecoglou at Tottenham? Because obviously rival fans tend to have, oh, it's Spurs, they're Spursy. Spurs fans are going, oh my God, this is the first time we've seen a plan in decades. Where are you at with this? I'll start with you, Dan, because you're Arsenal. So it'd be interesting to see your point of view as a rival fan.
Yeah, I like Postecoglou. Didn't know much about him. A lot of people are saying how he was such a great appointment, and I've been watching this guy for years. I know what shoe size he is and all this load of crap. No one knew much about him. Right? He was over
Everyone's an expert.
Yeah,
actually, I did. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I looked at him and straight away liked him in terms of off the pitch. I think he handles the media well. He's quite funny, and I think he's got a good heart. So I actually do quite like Postecoglou, which is a shame because I hate most Tottenham managers. But when it comes to the actual play, he's really quite attractive to watch, and they're a good team to watch, Tottenham Hotspur. But their squad was never enough for a title, in my opinion. If Arsenal ain't got a big enough squad, then it's laughable to think that Tottenham might have to win a title. So for me, Champions League is a real opportunity for Spurs, in my opinion. And I think that would be a very good season. I think you're probably going to go without silverware again. Now you've got Man City in the FA Cup, but you could surprise because they're yet to score a goal at your ground, from what I hear. So you never know. But I don't think Tottenham can go and do the unthinkable as a trophy in terms of a Premier League or an FA Cup. But I think Tottenham fans, I mean, I don't know if all of them will, but I think Tottenham fans as a majority would take Champions League football this season and then build on that. I think they're happy with the style of play. I know that Conte was quite bad with his style of play, so it's a complete opposite.
Quite bad.
Yeah, exactly. Poor to watch. But I think the biggest thing that's impressed me, Savva, is not just that. It's actually been your recruitment, because I think there's been a lot more hits than misses. And Tottenham have had last recruitment over the last few years, haven't they? So when you look at what's changed at Tottenham in terms of the players you've brought in, they've all been hits. Vicario, Udogie, Van de Ven, Pedro Porro, Bissouma. I know that was before, but you get me. He's now playing at least when he's fit. Maddison is fantastic for me. I think definitely going to look to be interested to see what you do in January. I know Dragyashin has come in. I don't know about him. Apparently, people are saying they're excited about him. I mean, how much to watch Genoa? Not very much, I imagine. But apparently he's good. And because he's not been dribbled past very much times, like Van Dijk and Saliba, there are now comparisons about them two. It's crazy. I don't actually think he starts in your team unless Romero is actually not as great as what people say, and he's going to start alongside Van de Ven. I think when everybody's fit, I think it'll remain to be Van de Ven and Romero. So, listen, I don't think Tottenham are going to win the league like Deji and some of the other lads who have spoken to me, who think they're going to surprise and do a Leicester City and all this crap. But for me, I actually think Tottenham Hotspur should be very, very happy with their season so far in terms of the way they're playing and what they thought was going to happen with life after Harry Kane. I feel it's quite clear where you're still short, and I think you are still short. I didn't expect to. I must say this actually, Savva, because I laughed at Spurs, but actually you have been unlucky with injuries. Because I said if you get one or two injuries, you'll be screwed. But you've had about 8 or 9, and that's just really harsh. You're lucky you've got one game a week and out of Champions League this year. Because with it,
mate, I said it for years. I said to you on your show last year, when Tottenham fans were going, God, we want to finish 7th, we want to get Europe. I said last year, we can't get Europe. We need, if you're going to do this, I hate this term, please forgive me, guys, rebuild. I don't know what we were rebuilding from. It's a build. If we're going to do this build, it can't be playing Saturday, Sunday, Thursday. It can't be where you train a day, then you're flying somewhere. We needed to be on the pitch with Postecoglou, and imagine with all these injuries, we played in Europe. Same with Chelsea. Same with them. So, I agree with you. Sorry.
And I think lastly, the only thing I'll say before I come to Kaz is Daniel Levy's done it again. That's all I'll say. Daniel Levy has done it again. Everyone loves him now. Is Daniel Levy stay in? Haven't heard Daniel Levy out for a long time. It'll happen again when Ange plays too much of a high line and you start losing again. Oh, it's Levy. And he'll be telling him to get out again. So that'll be the next thing that happens when Tottenham start to lose again. But if Tottenham are happy with where things are going, then big up Daniel Levy. You got it right. again, everyone must be happy with Tottenham fans must be happy with Daniel Levy. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, I love that. That was all very positive. And at the end, the last 10% of it was boom, 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 a little jab in. Kaz, just to round us off the show, Tottenham. I mean, I don't think we're winning a league. I've really angered a lot of my fans by saying that I don't think Tottenham are even in a title race. But next year after, why not? If we keep doing what we're doing, what do you make of it?
Let's put one thing straight. If you go watch my last 2 videos about Tottenham on my channel, literally the pre-upload, you'll see how much compliments I've got for them. Right. I'm jealous. I'm severely jealous. And it shows me that things can change in an instant. You don't need 3-4 years. You only need 1, right?
Right.
I'm jealous. Now, if I'm Ineos, I'm looking at Postecoglou. Everybody's got a price. Levy, a money grabbing, whatever you want to call him, has a price. Go put down whatever you want on the table for him and just say, take it.
Hang on, honestly, you've come onto a Spurs-centric channel and you're talking about taking our manager.
Yeah. No, yes.
Come on, Ange. Forget everything you've just done at Spurs. Come to Man United.
Yeah, no, but because you know what it is, though? Like, the way I look at it is, you are Tottenham and we are Man United. There's a difference. And there's level of difference in terms of expenditure. Right. But you know what? Like, other than that, look, that's how much praise and, I've got for Tottenham right now, and how much praise I've got for Ange and what he's doing right now. Big old Man United fan wants someone from Tottenham. Whoop-de-doo, right? Wow. I'm gonna be honest. I can't tell you who's winning the league. And if someone had to win the league, I'm hoping Villa or Spurs can do me something, please. Because you can't actually. The funny thing is, right? It's easy to pinpoint your finger to Liverpool or Manchester City to go and win the league right now. I'm not going to sit here and convince myself that Man City or anything convincing. I'm not going to sit here and tell me Liverpool. No, wait. No. Hold on. No, they haven't. Because they haven't. There's been issues. Just because they're Man City and have done it, they have no given right that they're going to go and win it again. But you know what?
I hear this every year about Man City. Every year.
No, I hear it. They got KDB back and everything.
We'll come back next January. Kaz will be sitting here going, City aren't anything special as they go on their 25-30 game unbeaten run.
Remember, I didn't say they're not going to win it. I just said I'm not convinced by them from what I've seen lately. And I think I've got a big, I think I've got quite a bit sample size to say why they're not convinced.
Have you? No, I'm going to bring this up. Kaz, I'm going to bring this up, right? Sorry, just really, really quickly. Sorry.
You know what's funny? Dan, you know what's funny? Dan gets his segment, but when I want to say anything,
I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to come back. I'm just interjecting. This whole City thing, right? All I hear from people all day long, right, is Man City ain't been convincing. Man City aren't what they were last year. Man City have just gone to the World Club Cup after winning 1 game in 6 in the Premier League, right? Yeah. And everyone's going, oh my God, they're not that great, blah, blah, blah. Bearing in mind, they lost 1 of those, right? They lost 1, right? Arsenal and Liverpool didn't do anything to move in front of them. Man City, by the way, are 1 defeat in 18, right? And have won 8 of their last 9. Now, if this is a team that we're saying aren't convincing, I don't know what is. 1 in 18 and 8 in 9 wins in their last 9 games. What is that if not convincing?
That's cute because last time I checked, Liverpool's also got 1 loss in 33, but here we are. But look, I wasn't talking about Liverpool. But I am. That's the thing. I am talking about both of them. I don't think the only team that's convinced me this year is Tottenham. And let me tell you why. They have played 2 fullbacks, one of them being Chicken Royale at centre-back, and Ben Davies, who's an absolute pensioner in this day and age. Like, he should not be in a club like Tottenham and he's performing. When there's a manager, and you say, you want to talk about Tottenham, that can get the best out of the most average players, then that's something I'm calling a little bit, that's something special. Not many managers can do that. They're making them perform at a high level. Next year's a different entity because there's a different, there's different expectations. Expectations change throughout a season. You play the best football in the league, clearly. You're convincing up front even when you don't have no striker. Clearly.
Hang on. Do we? Do we play the best football in the league? I've watched the last 7 or 8 games and we have really not played. Kaz, as a Spurs fan, I watched us get dicked on by Brighton. Bournemouth were all over us. Everton were all over us, right? Wolves beat us without us playing well, right? I feel this Spurs
yeah.
play this great football. I feel like we do play in patches really good football, but I think everyone's going on like it's every game we're playing this lovely tick-a-tack, free-flowing football.
Yeah, no, I don't. It's not obviously through 9 minutes, but I don't think nobody's football's been scintillating. I said you play the best football of what I've seen this season out of all teams. Liverpool don't play great football. They just hoof it up and hope Mo Salah can get on to the end of it. Man United are Man United. You know, Potts just plays foreplay and don't actually finish anything. He's not even that great, is it? Let's be honest. Man City plays slow football. You know, and then it's not like they've been in the goals. Like I'm just saying, your football's been the most scintillating for me.
Hang on.
Wait, no, Savva, stop. No, Savva, you need to stop doing this. You're putting across what you think and what your opinion is. Let me have my opinion on how I think. You can challenge
yeah, sure, but I'm just challenging. I'm challenging things you're saying that aren't factually correct. You've just sat there. You've just sat there and said
you factually. You said factually. There's no fact. It's opinion. So it's not a fact, Savva. This is my opinion.
I'm showing you the fact. I'm showing you the fact right now. Right? Man City have not been in the goals lately. Man City for the last 10 games have averaged 3.1 goals a game. Right? Have a look at this, right? This is the team that we're saying aren't playing well. Look at this. Win, draw, win, one loss, draw, win, win. I'm sorry, but Dan, surely you could see that. If people are going to say City aren't that good, City aren't in form, surely we've got to look at the facts before we actually talk with our emotions, haven't we?
So playing good football compared to playing good football, the best football, however you want to interpret it, could be mean effective football or pretty on the eye. I'm interpreting the way pretty on the eye. I live with a Man City fan. He can come on here and tell you facts right now. He's not convinced by his football, and he's not actually full of confidence right now. He's just happy that Haaland and KDB is back. No, he's not. I know that's his more reserved. So anyways, I talk to City fans way more than everybody else. So if you want to talk about facts or opinion, it's up to you guys. Anyways, you're 1 point behind Arsenal, in my opinion. And no one can call who's winning this league this year. That's my whole point. The fact is, you are where you are. See, this is what I'm saying. You are where you are when you've had two fullbacks at centre-back, right? You've been in your bare bones. Right now, you got Richarlison, but you got Van der Ven coming back. You're going to go get another box-to-box signing, right? You are going to still be where you are, even when Son comes back, even when Bissouma comes back, and Papasar and continue so. You got Maddison coming back, Van der Ven, Romero's right there. I can't imagine what Tottenham might do and how ready might be if they did. This is all I'm trying to say right now.
No, listen, I agree with you.
I'm not saying Tottenham are going to win the league, but I'm saying I can't be convinced by anyone right now that are going to go and win the league. I think Spurs fans, just like your banner says, dare to dream.
Listen. Before I end the show, go on, Dan.
Let's be real. I don't know why we're kidding ourselves. Man City are winning this league, man.
Every year, Dan. Every year, this conversation happens.
I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying you're allowed to give yourself a little bit of hope because guess what?
Oh yeah, no, we can dream, right? I'm not saying that Tottenham fans can't.
Football is football, and things change all the time. I don't know. It's no convince. There's no obviously. You got no evidence that Spurs are going to go and win it, or Aston Villa, or anyone. I hope Spurs win it over Arsenal. But if it's not Spurs, I hope Arsenal beat Liverpool and Man City too, because I can't stand them. Right? Sure. I'd rather Spurs more than Arsenal fans. And if Aston Villa could do me something, then please. But I just feel like this.
I would rather Spurs won it. But do you know what? Do you know what the difference is between? Listen, what I love about Spurs fans. Not all Spurs fans. I get in trouble saying this. Is we've convinced ourselves that we're the only club with injuries. We've convinced ourselves that we're the only club with significant injuries. Chelsea's injury list compared to Spurs is huge. Man United's injuries compared to Spurs has been huge. Man City for a while have been missing De Bruyne, Doku, Haaland, and John Stones. That's massive footballers. So when I see comments like take the best 5 players out of other teams and see how they do, we're seeing Haaland, De Bruyne, Doku, and Stones haven't played, and Man City are sweeping everyone past them. So this whole notion that no one else has had injuries like Spurs is a lie. And I'm a Spurs fan saying that, right? Listen,
What? No, you can't. You and Newcastle, especially Newcastle as well. You both have every right to complain about injuries, in my opinion, more than any other club.
So did Man U. So did Chelsea.
At a degree, but you've had no set. You've got barely a squad, and you've had no centre backs, and you employ someone called Richarlison.
But that's on us. That's why I don't think we'll win the league. That's the difference. That's the difference, Kaz. When we're talking, you can talk about injuries in 2 ways. One, you can talk about injuries and go, that's why you're not winning, right? But the problem is, see, like this. This is where people say things like this, not very intelligent, without looking at the facts. If you go and look at the Premier League injury lists of who has had the most players missing for the most number of games, do you know Liverpool, right? Liverpool, if you look at first team players, have had their players missing more games combined than Tottenham have. But the problem is, fans are so biased in their own club, they can't see the facts.
Oh, no, I can agree.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Right. Man, Liverpool have had Thiago Alcantara's missed all 20 games of Premier League football. Andy Robertson's missed 14 games of Premier League football. Diogo Jota's missed 9 or 11. Luis Diaz has missed something like 9 or 10 league games of football. Virgil van Dijk is now missing. Right? That's my point, Dan. Dan, this is my point. Everyone's had injuries. You can't use injuries as an excuse. That's what the summer is for. Right, if you know you're going to have injuries, right? Spurs in the summer, Kaz, could have gone and got another centre-half. And then we're not worrying so much about Van der Ven and Romero missing.
100%. But the way I'm looking at it, Savva, let's call it first teamers and let's call the key players. You've had more key players missing than anybody else because due to what your squad is, right? You've had a lot of key players missing.
I don't agree.
I agree. KDB's a big miss, but they still had Haaland for most of the season. They still had Alvarez to fill in. That's what I'm trying to say. The thing is, you kept where you are right now in the table, regardless of how shit your second team is.
I'm not saying we haven't.
Now
we need to end the show.
All I'm going to say, fans, don't listen to Savva. He's massive anyways. Pause. But I hate that.
He's massive.
Smash a like. His head's gone. He loves Man City more than Spurs. It's clear to see. You're allowed to dream, people. You know, Arsenal fans do it.
Hang on. Kaz, first of all, no, Kaz, don't do that. Don't do that because some of these people can't understand the difference between reality or not. Listen, do I want Spurs to win the league? Yes. I just think it's way too early. And if anyone truly is telling me that Spurs have more chance than Man City of winning this league title, then that is purely hope and love and dreams over reality, right? I do reality, right? Man City every year, we're going to finish the show in 60 seconds. Man City every year do this. This time last year, they were further away from the top of the league they are now. And Dan, I was on your channel. I was on Football Terrace. I was in Rants and Bats. I was on Never a Foul. Everyone's telling me, Savva, you're deluded. You love City. What did City go and do? 25, 30 games, did bish, bash, bosh, done.
We do this every year, man. We do this every year. We did it, just quickly, we did this every year. Last year, we did Man City, they got rid of Jesus, Zinchenko and Sterling. I think this could be the year. And all the Liverpool fans are getting excited. And then, again, this season, they've got rid of Mahrez and Gundogan. Oh my God, this could be the year. Come on, man. I'm never ever doing that again. Don't be stupid. Like, please. Stop doing that.
I'm the same. I think people are allowed to dream. Just don't do that. All I'm gonna say, if you're a Spurs fan, don't do Deji dreaming though. Please. I love Deji, but that.
Yeah, I love Deji, but he is. Wow.
Right, can I? Right, we've got 30 seconds. Can I just say?
What about an FA Cup? An FA Cup then.
Hang on. Can we get past Man City first? For the Spurs fans that wanted Man City in the cup.
Well, you typically beat them.
Sure. Listen, no one wants the best team in the world in the FA Cup this early. Anyway, look,
man, that's a horrible draw.
What I will say is this before we end the show, right? I will say is this: anyone can dream, anyone can hope. Fine, go and do it. I'll stick with my reality. If I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But all these people that are telling me we can win the league or we should be winning a league.
Oh, that's a different
Does that mean then? No, hang on, hear me out. Does that mean then if we don't, you got to turn around and say Postecoglou's failed?
Depends where you are in the season.
Right, that's my point. You can't be saying we should win the league. We've got this squad, blah, blah, and then when you don't, turn around and say, but it's his first year. For me, the pressure should not be on this manager to do anything this year. But we do need to end the show. Kaz, love the debates, man. Love it. And please, Spurs fans, don't say nonsense. Have faith. It's not faith. It's ability, know-how. The manager's never done it. Anyway, faith. Dan, come back next January. There'll be Spurs fans in here saying, Savva, have faith. I wonder if all these will come and tell me at the end of the season when City win it and Spurs don't, that I was right. I bet they don't. Big up, great show. Dan, thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Kaz, thanks for the debates. I'll miss debating with you boys. Take care, everyone. Smash the like button and subscribe on the way out. Spurs are winning the league. You heard it here first. Take care, everyone. See you later. And as always, come on, you Spurs.